this madhukari is a very noble act, in fact, for bhaktas to perform. Because when you go knocking on someone's door, begging, you have to be prepared for them to say, go away, or for them to chase you away, etc. It's a very humbling profession, not profession, but way of life, to get your foodstuffs, just to beg. It helps, it supports. We have the example in the Avanti Brahmana, in the Bhagavatam, the 24 gurus, in the 11th canto, the Avanti Brahmana.
Uddhava.
Yes, speaking to Uddhav. And in that Avanti Brahmana, we see people would spit on him. They would urinate on him. They would even throw stool at him when he was begging. And he was accepting it all because he understood this is actually the reactions of my previous karmas, going through like that. But it's a very humble, simple. If we keep it simple, stupid, that expression, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. If we live our life like that, making things simple, then surely we'll have more time for our development, progress in Krishna consciousness. As long as we are not walking towards transcendence, as long as we're not performing anything transcendental, we are useless. Just like if the hand cuts itself off from the body, it can't function. You'll just throw it away in the street. It's useless. But if the hand is serving the whole body, then the hand has great function. So similarly, if the jiva is serving nicely the Lord, then his life is completely successful and sublime. It's totally auspicious. What's that? Kleshagni Shubhada, Moksha Lukharta Krit. No, that's the one. No, Kleshagni Shubhada. Yes, just that one. This is the description of sadhan. When our sadhan is, this Shubhada means auspicious. Everything in the sadhak's life becomes auspicious. You don't have massive crises happening daily or weekly or even yearly. Everything just runs very smooth because you're doing, this gives us great confidence and confirmation. Yes, Krishna will send these confirmational indications to us. If we're looking for that, we have to see like that. The most non-conformist preacher. So we don't have to sit in that straitjacket of rules and regulations that we don't understand. All the rules and regulations are ecstatic when we understand them. There's a reason for all of them. The sages and saints have made these rules and regulations to support our bhajan. And if we understand the nature of all these restrictions and prohibitions, then we can embrace it fully. But if we don't understand it and it becomes like a burden, then we need to be educated more on this. It's like an example, just offering dandavat pranams to a sannyasi, for example. And we should only offer dandavat pranams to a sannyasi once a day. There's no need to do many times in a day. And if you don't offer, then it's actually considered an offense. And that you should fast to actually purify that. Because it's very beneficial for us to honor that renounced order. This is a scriptural injunction, and great mercy will flow back to us from performing that act. Anyway, many things like this.
We should pay obeisances to any sannyasi. We should pay obeisances to any sannyasi.
Yes, to that ashram. To that ashram. Not about the personality. If I don't like him or I do like him, that's material. That's a material consideration. But if I'm offering to the ashram, in my heart, yes, I'm honoring the ashram of that sadhak, that sadhu. I'm offering to the ashram. Then I should definitely, 100 million% should offer my obeisances there. At least externally. But internally, we can be holding back if we're not having confidence in that sadhu, etc. But externally, we should. It's good for us. This is what I'm trying to share, that these sorts of activities help us in our bhajan. They help keep our atmosphere clean. It's kleshagni subhada. Keep it auspicious because I'm following that sattvic path. I'm honoring superior ashram. The superior ashram is considered the Sanyasi Ashram, so I should honor it. But today, in this world of hypocrisy and so on, it's sometimes we have to swallow hard, but still we should try to do that with our bodies. Our minds may be somewhere else, but at least externally, then we don't commit any aparadha. Because we never know the condition of anybody. We don't know anyone's actually internal condition. We may imagine that we know it, but we probably don't know it completely. A sannyasi is due respect, because he's externally at least given up the pleasures of this world. He's restricting that interaction. So that should be honored, because everyone should want to be separated from the world. We want that. And if we don't honor that ashram, it means that we don't really have respect for it, and we don't want that for ourselves. Ultimately, we should want to be freed from this material encumbrance. When we're out of touch with transcendence, we're completely poverty-stricken. When we're in touch with transcendence, we're completely euphoric and so potently powerful. Like Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, completely in touch. What could he do? He could set a fire in the whole world of Krishna consciousness. But if he went away from Krishna consciousness, he would just be like a Bada Jiva, useless. See, it's a dichotomy. That's what causes more confusion in the world. Besides all the other ingredients that are causing confusion, hypocrisy, etc., etc., pollution, bad food, all these things causing confusion in the mind. But we have to reconcile. We are marginal. Marginal means I have the nature of spirit, but I'm covered by matter. So I fall into matter. It's got to be clear for us. Only with the clarity can we actually get out of it. If we don't have clarity on this subject, we'll be covered by it and be crying out, oh, Maya's giving me a hard time. I said the other day, I'm holding on to the tree and shouting, let go, let go. Who's holding the tree? I am. I'm holding on to the illusion. If I take responsibility for it, I can actually undo it. But if I don't have the courage to take full responsibility, I can never undo it. This in English is called a victim complex. It's not my fault. It's like when we get to the 16th chapter, we have Bhajan asking all these questions. It's not my fault. Why am I suffering? Why am I here? It's all Krishna's fault. He made it like this. Why did he make me suffer like this? This means he can never get out unless we accept the situation. It's all in the same bag. Everything that we're discussing from top to bottom. Matter and spirit. What is matter and spirit? And the distinction. And don't try to understand these things categorically. Just try to appreciate these things. If we try to get too clinical, too academic, we'll lose the flavor. It'll just become like a straitjacket practically. Then you won't be able to breathe anymore. Don't try and apply your good academic, intelligent brain to these topics. They will just flounder. They will just become exhausted, and there'll be no taste ultimately. You will go in the road of what they call thorny gyan, the thickets of thorny gyan, the thorny thickets of gyan. If we try to put everything in boxes, if we try to itemize everything, so our intelligence is satisfied. If the intelligence is satisfied, why will you have any more greed to go further? There needs some foundation, of course. Intelligence has to be pacified to a degree, but just to the degree where you can move to the next step. Don't keep banging on the same point again and again and again. Once you've understood one step, then take to the next step, because spiritual progress or the spiritual path is only progressive. It's only moving forward. If it's not moving forward, then it's no longer evolving spiritually, and you just become static. This is not our path. So be careful for that. Many sometimes try to become over rational or over logical, even discussing so many of these points, in different forums. Often on Facebook we hear that there's many discussions on these points again and again and again, and someone saying one thing and it's like becomes how can you get realization from that? You can only get realization from your own practice. If you're practicing your Sadhan Bhajan, if you're reading these truths, and if you want to share your realizations, that's one thing. But if you want to debate about them, that's dangerous. That's going to create some weakness within you. It's not going to be beneficial. It's described Rupa Goswami had no logic, no reasoning at all. Sanatana Goswami had some, but Rupa Goswami had none. My Gurudev often describes that his Gurudev had sufficient logic and reason to actually perform different activities. But he himself, my Gurudev, he says he doesn't have any of this logic and reason within it. It's someone who's always trying to calculate. This is not a healthy activity to be calculating all the time. Actually, we just have to, it's like I can remember reading the pastimes or the descriptions from the Christian mystics, and they would talk about coming into the light of the Brahman, and they would be in complete bliss and happiness, and then they would start to analyze it, and immediately it would cut, immediately it would fail, and they would come out of that state of consciousness as soon as you try to analyze it. Analyzing it means I want to catch it, I want to control it. That's actually what it's like. It's like I want to be able to control this myself. I want to have it rather than experience it. It's not something to be controlled or put in your pocket. It's something to be experienced. It's to relish the speciality of that divine exchange between us and that transcendental world. It has no boundaries. It has no walls of rationality. It's just a free-flowing connection. There's no rationality there. As soon as we want to rationalize on it, we have the desire to control it, then it just goes away. It disappears because that's not its nature. That transcendental mood will flow towards us in the form of mercy, and if we can reciprocate and appreciate that mood and stay in that focus on the transcendental object alone with affection, that will be success. Not trying to write it down, catch it, illuminate, because we're afraid of losing it. We're afraid after so many lifetimes, I haven't had this, now I have to catch it and have security through that. But there's no security through, you can't actually catch it. It doesn't work that way. You can only experience it. And you can only realize what I'm saying when you've had realization of that. The devotee has really swung his whole ambition, his whole consciousness away from what he was programmed initially from the birth, where we're looking for our pleasure. Now all of a sudden we're looking for Krishna's pleasure. And there's an interim stage where we get confused and we think that by looking in the impersonal way, that will satisfy Krishna. If I neglect the very personal services of Krishna and just look towards the mystical phantasmagoria that can manifest in a meditative consciousness, you understand, we can get actually caught up in this. But this mystical path has nothing to do with service to Krishna. It's still I-orientated. It's still me at the center wanting to taste something phenomenal or phantasmagorical, some special type of bliss. But it's not devotional service. So many devotees come with a misconception that now all my mystical desires will be fulfilled. But then halfway through, it's like when we read the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami, he talks about the bliss of liberation in about the first third of this doctrine. And then gradually he shifts over to the bliss of seva. But in the beginning, that bliss of liberation can be the carrot, can be the attraction to capture the conditioned souls, because they're suffering in Maya and they just want to be happy. They're not fulfilling themselves in Maya. And then they gradually they get attracted to become liberated, to become freed from the material encumbrances. And then, but slowly, but if they don't catch the essence of devotional or devotional service, then they haven't really succeeded. They're still in the material whirlpool. He hasn't even begun his journey just at the point of mukti, at the point of liberation. Our journey doesn't even begin, just becoming liberated. Where is Lalita Saki? Where is Vishaka Saki? If you're just liberated, where are the personalities of Braj? How empty, how void, without Vrindavan Dhan, without the precepts of Mahaprabhu. Where is our juice? There's just the juice in this self-love, which is satisfying to a point, because it's not like the mad, crazy, material-involved consciousness. It's higher than dharma, artha, and karma. Sri Chaitanya Dev instructed the world to taste prem, and he personally taught it by his transcendental behavior and activities. This prem is completely beyond the jurisdiction of Maya, and it is the highest development of the unalloyed state of perfect oneness, Advaita Siddhi. The state known as Mahabhav is a special transformation of this prem, in which prem ananda is extraordinarily powerful. Consequently, both the separateness and the intimate relationship of the lover and the beloved are transported to an unprecedented state. That is the prem that we're seeking to serve. The inconsequential theory of Mayavad is useless for understanding the subject matter of prem in any of the stages. So we'll leave it there today. This is absolutely beautiful teachings. If you can catch something of this, because we've talked about, okay, you're not the material body, you're the spiritual soul. But there's a place in between where you can get attracted to this point of liberation, just from the struggle to realize we're not the body, and just to merge into that absolute oneness where I'm not the body anymore, but I haven't realized the function of the soul. And essentially what that merging does, it incinerates the future activities of the soul. It's described as spiritual suicide. That's actually what it is. It's directly suicidal, because you've cut your soul off from the opportunity of its real function in service to the Supreme. And instead you've accepted a substitute for service to you and your apparent bliss of being freed from the material conception of the bodily platform. Understand? It's tragic. Yet nevertheless, Rupa Goswami has described in his Laghu Bhavanamrita that the illumination of the spirit soul, when it merges into that place of oneness, is still serving the Lord by the illumination enhancing Krishna's Brahmajyoti. It's still performing service. You can't get away from serving the Lord. They want to get away from serving the Lord. They want to just serve themselves. My bliss, my pleasure. But even if you reach that ultimate place of Sayuja Mukti, or what the Jnani, the Brahm realization, even if you reach that place, you're still serving the Lord. The illumination of your soul will enhance Krishna's Brahmajyoti. Most spiritual societies around, other than the Hare Krishnas, are preaching some sort of mood towards that, mukti and liberation. Enjoy yourself, brother. Have a great time. Sit and meditate on top of a mountain. This vipassana. Don't talk to anyone for a few weeks. It'll be really nice for you. You'll have a really inside experience, and you will have. And you'll think, wow, now I found God. I found something beyond the mundanity of what I was before. Like this boy I was telling you about, doing this Wim Hof breathing. He had found something sweeter than the horrors of material existence. And that was enough for him to stay with his faith there, rather than open out to a belief in the Vrindavan panorama of relationships. This is why Braj is so important, to travel through Braj, to hear in Kartik the Braj parikramas, etc., to know all the different Leela stallis. It just wakes up the whole personal aspect of the Lord. Everything just becomes alive. If you're not offensive to Vaishnavas, like Sanat Kumar, like the four Kumars, they weren't offensive. They were Brahmavads, but they weren't offensive to Ishvara. Therefore, they could receive knowledge of Ishvara easily with great joy. If offenses had been committed, they wouldn't have been able to access that relationship. Your inner mood is sacred. It's private. If you open the door, it'll just come out and you'll lose it. You'll lose your strength. Sometimes when you take time during the day for some solitary meditation, away from the crowd, etc., usually in the early morning hours, the Brahma Muhurta hour, that mode of goodness time, when we can just be immersing ourselves in a solitary way, and then we're not influenced by anyone's impression, and that way we can get strength to tackle the rest of the day when so many people might be crowding around us, etc. Yes, and my Gurudev often describes like this. It should be like a if someone has a lover, a paramour, then they should very carefully attend to their husband so that the husband doesn't suspect that they have a lover. So if you are very careful to protect your bhakti and you don't demonstrate it externally in a flamboyant type of a way, then you will be able to protect that young sprout of bhakti. It's important to protect the growth of this creeper, this bhakti lata. It's just something to stop trying to be the doer, to stop trying to be the controller, but just to try to be grateful for the mercy that comes, try to be submissive, try to be pliant, try to be soft. Bhakti Devi herself is very soft, very gentle, very submissive. That's the mood, submissive to Krishna's desires. This is the conclusion of his melting heart. He knows that now he needs mercy. All his pride has been vanquished. Pride in his erudition, pride in his apparent status, etc. It's all been completely washed away by his association with Prem Das Babaji and his incredible words that he's been answering clearly all his questions with. So now he's only wanting mercy. Now he understands that mercy, I'm feeling gratitude because I've entered this pathway. The door has been opened and I've come in due to this personality's, Prem Das Babaji's mercy. Now I just want more of that mercy to continue on this path. So this is his mood of deep humility. If the mood of deep humility comes at the end of our appreciation of these truths, then we should understand, yes, something must have penetrated. But if a mood of arrogance and pride comes, oh, now I've understood, now I know the truth more than somebody else, or some envy is there, then this means that we haven't understood. So this final verse is Trinadapi Sunichina, Tarodapi Suhishina, Amanina Manadena, Kirtanya Sarahari. This Vaishnava Dharma is very brave, it's very bold, it's very pure. Because it's pure and without blemish, then that person who is immersed in Vaishnava Dharma will have that bold quality also, because he has no fear. We have nothing to fear.
Hare Krishna.